On the case, Bigfoot time can't replace. Truth is what we seek to find. Science leads us no behind. To the forest deep and wide, cameras rolling side to side. Every clue, footprint trace. Bigfoot's not a myth they chase. Sunday night will Friday too. Bigfoot's real, the truth in you. Science, sense, and race combined. This is all it's time to shine. Mystery's all it's time to shine. Squatch-D brings it live. Steve and Chris, they're gonna fly. No stone unturned, the facts alive. Bigfoot story now defined. Footsteps here and shadows there. In the woods they do prepare. Concepts are like the way. Bigfoot secrets shown today. Sunday night of light to shine. Sunday night of sunshine. Swan sees it's time to shine. Sunday night of light to shine. Sunday night of light to shine. It's all it's time to shine. It's all it's time to shine.
Welcome to Squatch-D TV, where the truth is first before all else. Join your hosts, veteran investigator, TV personality, and author Steve Kulls, and from the Kentucky Bigfoot Research Project and the Kentucky Fried Fixes channel, Chris Bennett. Sit back and prepare to take yourself on a journey with the longest-running Bigfoot podcast, Squatch-D TV. Here are your hosts, Steve and Chris.
And good evening, cyberspace. Welcome to Squatch-D TV for today's date, November 6th, 2024. I'm your host, your guide, the Squatch Detective Steve Kulls, along with my co-host, Mr. Chris Bennett. What's going on?
Steve, man, it's good to see you. I'm glad to be here. Glad to be here with you. And, man, you know how it is right before us. When the show starts and we get ready to go, the funniest things happen. And while the show was coming on, I'm just sitting here minding my own business, listening to the music. And you know how we've got like a herd of resident Yorkies here. Okay. A dog hair floats through the air and it lands on my nose.
Oh, is that what you were doing?
So I'm brushing like, what the heck? And it got into my mustache. I'm here trying to get it off of me. And finally got it before the show came on. But man, that was funny. To me.
Well, you know, I am so glad that we actually have some news to report on such a slow news week.
Yeah. It's about time something happened.
I mean, there has been nothing going.
No.
But boy, we have some very interesting things that had occurred over November 3rd, starting November 3rd. And it took a little while. I got this to me, I believe, after the show on November 4th or Monday. It got posted late, I believe, November 3rd, if I'm not mistaken. And I was like, isn't this interesting?
Trail cam. All right.
So here we go with another trail cam photo with somebody stating they've gotten a Bigfoot on a trail camera. Or allegedly a trail camera. We're going to take a look.
Yeah.
So Is there anything else we want to talk about before? Well, let's do our roll call first.
Oh yeah. I'm looking over here.
We're so excited about some of the stuff we want to talk about tonight.
Oh,
So first in tonight was Sharon saying, "Have a great show, Steve and Chris." She'll catch us on the flip. Walter Kroll, hello, Walter. Karen Fisher, good to see you. Jack Norton, what's going on? Ken the Bouncer in the house. Pete H, what's going on? Ristel, what's happening? Sandra Piper, hello. And now we're going to jump down a little bit. The Beatron is back. Hello, Beatron. Good to see you. The Susie Monster. Hello, Susie Monster. What's happening? Mitch Hargrove. Good to see you, sir.
welcome.
Doug Gear. Hello. What's up? He comes up and says, "Sup, boys? What's going on here?" That's a pretty good profile picture there. Looks like he's playing the guitar.
All right.
And we got Will L. New
welcome.
in the chat tonight. Hello from Huntington, PA. Well, welcome to you, Will. Kick your feet up, make yourself at home. Brian S. Hello, Brian. Good to see you. So that is our chatters right now, and we know the lurkers are out there somewhere as well.
Yeah. Hello, you guys. We appreciate you. And everybody listening on the podcast, we appreciate you too.
That's right. And again, if you're listening on one of our many platforms tonight, iHeartRadio, Sirius, Amazon, Audible, Spreaker, Apple Podcasts, Deezer, Pandora, Radio Public, Sirius XM, Castbox, you might want to catch the YouTube on the flip side of this, because we're going to have a lot of graphics, and this is about a trail cam photo tonight, so you guys are going to want to watch.
Check out the YouTube video so you can see the trail cam photos.
And folks, on those things, if you like what you see on any one of those platforms, make sure you subscribe to the show. And if you come over here to the YouTube channel, subscribe over here too. It's always good to have in the bank, so you can listen to it while you're in the car or at work, and then you can come back and watch the video and see what we're talking about.
Very cool.
And Brian S. says Venice Beach, California, checking in. Wow, that's some beautiful
California, welcome.
Beautiful piece of property there, I'll tell you that.
Yeah. Venice Beach. I've been to Long Beach. I've only seen pictures of Venice Beach on the TV.
I've been to Long Face. Anyway, so this popped up, and let's hit this first slide. And of course, the typical Facebook post posted in numerous Facebook groups. I'm saying I literally don't have the words. I went to check the trail cameras this morning, and I think I caught a freaking Sasquatch. Neighbors said they've heard weird screams at night. I mean, I thought it was just deer outside making the dogs bark all night. Welp, no more going to the woods without my 45. Carnesville, Indiana. So I want you to remember, what is my mantra, Chris?
Well, you have a few.
No.
Going to be the story matters. Yeah.
The story matters. That's right. So, yeah, I'm sure Venice Beach has a lot of strange creatures. But yeah, so I want you all to remember this, because we're going to go back. And as I'm reading this story to you, there's something that resonates with this, Chris.
Right.
That tells me that this is all not going to go very well.
Right.
We'll explain that in a bit. So I don't think I even need to show my analysis slides after this. And Jeremiah, I want to thank Jeremiah. Jeremiah, actually, who just popped in, was actually, he sent me the link there, said, "Hey, did you see this?" So I was like, ooh, that's a good one to talk about. But of course, and there's Danny Weeks as well. Good to see you, Danny. So the important thing is that if you look at the stories, follow the trail of breadcrumbs as an investigator. I preach it every week to folks. You can do this. Anybody here, even a Sasquatch enthusiast, you don't have to spend a day out in the woods to be able to do this. We try to teach people, if they can't be a person in the forest being a sleuth, they can be on the internet and be a sleuth as well. So I blocked the guy's name out of this. I don't want to, I just want to avoid any kind of, YouTube BS or anything like that. And of
Right.
course, all pictures here are used under the fair use doctrine for, reporting, analysis, commentary, etc. And that's what we're doing tonight is commentary.
Right.
So these are all covered by that. So we look at the first picture, and I'm looking at something in the left-hand side of the screen is very, blobbish. Brian and Chewy go hiking. Hello.
Run.
And now we look at the second picture, and it doesn't look very tall.
Yeah.
Doesn't look very tall at all. Right? And then we look at the third picture. And again, it doesn't look very tall at all. And then we look at the fourth picture, and that's the last picture in the series. Now, it's just grainy enough for people not to really see, or understand. Oop.
Yep, it's pretty blurry. Yeah, it's pretty bad. Which brings up the question. I mean, if you got this on your trail camera, would you be willing to release this to the public, or would you kind of keep this to yourself as a research tool?
So, according to our documentation, this was taken in Connorsville, Indiana. Now, Connorsville, Indiana is about 60 miles east southeast of Indianapolis. To its direct south, about 10, 20 miles, is a big state park, and about 10 or 20 miles to its east, there is another state park. So it is a rather busy town. It is very urbanized type of town. It doesn't necessarily mean he could live on the outskirts, but think about what he is saying here in this. Neighbors said they have heard weird screams at night. Right. I went to check the trail cameras this morning, I think, and the neighbors said they've heard weird screams at night. I mean, I thought it was just a deer outside making the dogs bark all night. So now he's claiming, from what you're reading, is that there's neighbors. He heard, he thought it was deer making the dogs bark. The neighbors saying they heard weird screams. Strange, if you're hearing the dogs bark, why are you not hearing the weird screams, right?
Yeah.
And then he comes up with no more going to the woods without my 45. Well, that's kind of interesting because if these are neighbors and you thought it was just deer outside making the dogs bark, you're at your home.
Yeah.
So what do you mean going out into the woods without your 45? Okay, maybe you're afraid if you go out into the woods by yourself with your 45, but he is a survivalist. We've seen him in other Facebook posts and a lot of pictures of him going out with different various weapons.
Oh, okay.
Right. So he is a 27-year-old male.
Maybe like a prepper type individual.
Right. Single individual. I think he's living home with mom or dad. I'm not quite sure. There's a lot of pictures of him standing around the yard. No pictures of him driving or anything like that. So I don't know. I don't know what his social situation is other than he's single. He, he is not a very physically fit looking guy. I mean, he could be, but he is a little stocky.
Well, I brought up Connorsville on the map. I was looking at it.
Yep.
I'm all whited out there, but they've got a river that runs through there by Connorsville called Whitewater River.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, all right, but this is the neighborhood.
Yeah.
All right. And it is what it is.
Right.
So I'm not going to, but I need to remember now we've painted the picture where this is happening, or he's painted the picture. Neighbors said they've heard weird screams at night. So this is right by his house. Right. So we know it's not going to be in this preserve or that preserve allegedly because it's, he's talking about his neighbors hearing weird screams.
Right.
And then he says, I thought it was just deer outside making the dogs bark.
Screaming
he said
deer.
I went to check the trail cameras. So then we have, these three pictures.
Right.
And then all of a sudden, yesterday, this pops up. Donate to support Josh's dream, the Bigfoot store and museum, organized by so-and-so.
Okay. All righty. Yeah.
So you click on the link now, and it goes to this page. It's no longer there. It's been yanked.
But that didn't stop you, did it?
Yep. Here, Jeremiah's like, no way. But the big thing is the minute I saw that post, I was keeping an eye on things.
Yeah.
Well, I got on my phone and I screenshot what he wrote. And there it is. So he did start to go GoFundMe page with a $200,000 goal.
Whoa! Wow.
Now let's read what this guy had written. Well, before we do that, I want to make a note. Does this look like a trail camera at all to you?
Not really. The night vision or the infrared illuminator should have been a lot more powerful than that.
Correct. And the other thing too is, why does it say camera/2 on it?
I don't know. That's kind of
I
weird.
have never seen a trail camera. Man, it could be wrong that you can actually name on the camera itself.
Yeah.
I mean, I have some pretty advanced trail cameras. You can name them on your app so you know which camera is yelling at you. But usually what you get is something like this.
It's going to be
and this is a video. So I want people to notice the difference in clarity, the IR illuminance, and how the timestamp is. So that being said, you see the difference between.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at this going, this is not a trail camera. This is a video camera, and maybe he had it, or a surveillance camera, but it's not a trail camera. Could be a surveillance camera being on DVR, but if it's a surveillance camera, you don't usually get motion. You usually are continuously videotaping.
Yes.
Right. So
Right.
I'm thinking what we are actually looking at here is actually 3 stills, because 3 stills of a video frame. Now, if there's any slight movement, some people may say, well, there's movement in the frame. You notice how it moves from there to there. That could be just my framing of the screen grabs. Okay. So don't count that at all. They're all pretty consistent. But what I'm thinking is you're not looking, or you can, I mean, it doesn't look like a trail camera to me, because especially since the tree to the left, at the very far left, almost at the edge of the screen, and the tree to the right does not look blown up. This looks like this is being lit with an IR illuminator, not an IR flash like you see in this video. So,
big
right,
difference.
correct. So I think that I do not believe for a second that these are off a
Mitch says this looks more like a CCTV cam.
Exactly. So if it's a CCTV cam, let's go back to our original story. I went to check the trail cameras. All right, could he have mixed that up? Yes or no? Well, yeah, he could have mixed it up and said, okay, it's not a, I have surveillance cameras set up and I looked at it and this is camera 2 on the property and whatnot. And that, right? But then you would have video. Why are we only looking at, right? Because I don't know any surveillance cameras nowadays that just take pictures, right?
Yeah.
So to me, and absolutely right, this looks like a CCTV camera at best. Because truthfully, my blink cameras, you know, they're very bright if something comes close, but you know, things that are out far don't have that much pop. Right.
And stuff
So,
that's like really close
right,
to them is like really blew up. It's like, wow, this is really, there's a lot of IR on this tree that's close. And
right.
this one's not so much.
So Jen says camera set up in a trail cam, I suppose. Yes. But again, it's not a trail camera. It's a camera set up on a trail camera, but you would have, it would have the video. Why is there no video and we only have pictures? Well, very simply, because the next day the kid decides to set up this, you know, crazy friggin' $200,000 fundraiser. Now, I want you to follow along with the story on this. Hello, my name is so-and-so, and I am beyond excited to share an incredible opportunity with you. On November 2nd, 2024. That was November 2nd, right? Okay. I captured something that changed my life. I caught Bigfoot on a trail camera while out hiking in the woods. Whoa, time out. He wasn't hiking in the woods. He said that, hey, my neighbors have been hearing things, and I thought the dogs were just barking because of
Deer. Yeah.
deer. And how do you just catch a Bigfoot on a trail camera while hiking in the woods? The story's not even consistent. And then he writes, since that moment, the images have gone viral. Articles have been written, and the world has taken notice. What?
Really?
I'm sorry. Articles have not been written, at least not that I know of, not that I've seen. Maybe I'm wrong about that, but, you know, we're talking this was yesterday.
Yeah, it really hadn't had time to grow legs yet, even if it was going to go viral.
The Bigfoot, and here's the funny thing. This guy only recently has joined Bigfoot groups. Isn't that coincidental? And he joined a slew, and he's been posting this picture all over. That's why it's gone viral, because he's posting it everywhere.
Right.
It's not really gone viral. Other people have not posted it. I post a video and it gets 75,000. Right? Danny Weeks caught on trail camera while hiking. No. And then again, if we look at the original story, he goes, I went out to check the trail cameras this morning, and he's talking about neighbors and thought the deer outside were making the dogs bark. He was acting like it was outside of his house.
Right.
Now the story has changed from the GoFundMe page, which was written so badly that he took it down.
Yeah.
Dun-dun-ba-dun. Wow.
Well, yeah, this one's got some issues.
Yeah.
The first issue I had with it, of course, I can't tell if this is a real Sasquatch or not, because it's just a blob running across. It could be a guy in a gorilla suit, somebody in a fur suit, somebody in a fur coat. You can't really tell anything about it.
Right.
So, I would be tempted to just kind of like put this one on the back shelf, on the back burner, and not release that to the public, because, it's.
Well, let's just say you're new to all this, right?
Oh, yeah. Okay.
And coincidentally, he was recently joining these Bigfoot groups.
Right.
And then he starts posting this. Oh, I got this. This is the only Bigfoot reference he has on his pages. But when you probably don't have a job, or you don't have a very good job, you're 27 years old, don't have a car, don't have whatever, hey, maybe this is a get-rich-quick scheme. But maybe somebody pointed out to him the difference between this story here and the story he originally posted.
Right. That's why I took it down, probably. But, who has if this is actually Bigfoot evidence, let's just give him the benefit of the doubt and say it is. Okay. The first time you've gotten Bigfoot evidence you weren't expecting. I mean, who jumps from that to, I'm going to open up a Bigfoot store and museum?
Right.
That's a big leap there.
It's also a very naive leap to show that he is not necessarily in tune with the Bigfoot community.
Right.
Now, I've withheld his name for the most part. I think one little slide let his first name slip, but I'm not going to release his last name because I don't know. Maybe this guy has a little bit of a developmental disability or something like that, and he's just, trying to make money in a silly way or whatever. I don't know the circumstance. But he is running around toting guns in the woods. So my thought on that is maybe he's not.
Well, yeah, it could be a little bit of excitement, especially if it's legitimate. He could be really excited. But it looks to me when you go from, wow, I've discovered, some Bigfoot evidence. When you jump from that to straight up to collecting 200 grand.
We will feature the famous trail camera photos. Rare Bigfoot-related artifacts, immersive exhibits, and educational displays. Wow, that's pretty ambitious for somebody that just saw a Bigfoot a few days ago.
Yeah.
And he did take a few pictures outside of the area where it was, but without any kind of reference to it. Like he's got a picture of the woods without it. Let's see if I can't pull those up real quick.
Well, see, I would have liked to have seen some photos from the trail camera, if that's what this is, during the day.
Well, so he doesn't provide that, right? So let me see if I can pull up that does not look like it at all. That does not look like it at all.
Yeah, Ristel says, support the dream. Seems a bit overboard, considering he was only enlightened 4 days ago. I can agree with that. But
so
could be excited.
So this is the alleged picture of the area, but I'm not really seeing it all that much. If you go back to the picture,
well,
let's go back to like the one of the pictures here. Let's go back to this picture. Now, if we go and show this one, and I'll try to.
Yeah.
That does not look like the same to me. I mean, I don't see this. I see this tree here. Okay. So let me go over here. I want everybody to notice, okay, where the Sasquatch, the alleged Sasquatch is standing. Right. So in this particular picture, it's standing right here.
Okay.
Now, if we look at it real closely, it comes up to, you see this, okay, so you see the branch that spouts out like the back of it, right?
Yes, I see.
Okay, so let's go back to our picture. So it was standing roughly about here.
Okay.
Right?
Pretty short. Yeah.
Pretty short.
Yeah. Now, of course, it could have been a
juvenile, right? But
I like it that there's a small branch there, drainage. That's good. The area looks pretty good. If you look beyond, you see there's a lot of light. You can see a lot of skylight there in the background. That means that area opens up.
Right.
Just beyond that to an open field.
But where it falls apart, inevitably, where it falls apart. I mean, this is just him trying to build his case.
Right.
Now, that's the reason why I'm not also using his name. Could somebody have gassed him? It's possible. But the fact is, here he says one thing.
Yeah.
And here he says something else.
Yeah.
I caught Bigfoot hiking. I caught Bigfoot on a trail camera while hiking in the woods. Well, according to this, so were you hiking in the woods at 3:00 in the morning? Right?
Not. Yeah.
Right? When he says And I checked the trail. I went to check the trail cameras this morning.
Right.
And he went from, I think I caught a freaking Sasquatch, to I caught Bigfoot on a trail camera.
Right.
And that also shows a little bit of, perhaps, he didn't say a Bigfoot. I caught Bigfoot on a trail camera.
Yeah.
Right. And all of a sudden he's going to have a Bigfoot store and museum. Well, what artifacts? What are you going to buy the artifacts? Is that's why you're trying to, if you're going to start buying Bigfoot artifacts, between designs and setting up a storefront and a shop and inventory and paying
Right.
staff and paying for a remodel of a store,
Right.
you're probably going to need about 3 times that amount, number one.
Yeah.
Right? Because you're not even talking about buying the exhibits yet.
Well, there's a couple of things that ring true with me on this, and then the early spring and mid to late fall are 2 good times for activity in this area of the country. And Indiana, where he's at, is probably roughly maybe 125 miles north of me or something like that. So I'm pretty certain that they would follow about the same routine. They'd be more active in the early spring and then mid to late fall. So the timing seems to be okay. The area where he's at, I looked up Connorsville, and it could just be his address. He's using Connorsville as that's the closest city. He could live in a rural area outside of Connorsville and still use Connorsville as his address. So
Correct.
Correct. I don't have any problem with that. But the problem that I have with it, and I can't say one way or another whether this is real or fake, the problem I have is because of the quality is too low, the definition is too low, we don't really know what that is.
And if he's got it in the middle of the woods, that's kind of dangerous, because those systems, the actual recording of those, number one, the actual recording of those type of systems is video, not photographs.
Yeah.
Right? So why would you post photographs? And I'll tell you why. Because video would show all the flaws. So let me take 3 or 4 frames of this video, screen capture them, right?
Right.
And I'll use those, and I'll say it came from a trail camera.
With video, we may be able to see a baggy suit,
the gate.
Yeah. Right. But it's it kind of strikes me as odd that it doesn't really look like a trail cam photo when you compare it to your trail cam video there.
Cryptic Crystal says, could have been me after a rough night at the bar.
Oh, it's good to see you, Crystal.
And hello to Nikki out there. I see Nikki snuck in over there in her Great Ghost Sasquatch Secrets.
But it could be a case where this guy really did get something. He's just highly excited.
I'm not buying it, because the story is so different. I can understand. Right. I can understand maybe some mislanguage on certain things.
Sure.
But the whole scope of it changed. I went out in the morning to check the trail cameras. The neighbors have said they've heard screams at night, and I thought the dogs were barking because of the deer. And then all of a sudden, he changes that and says, I caught Bigfoot in a trail camera while I was hiking in the woods. Well, that makes no sense, because you don't capture a Bigfoot on a trail camera while you're hiking.
Yeah.
That's right, Crystal. Facts don't change.
Yeah.
So,
well, it does look kind of like frame grabs from a video.
It sure does. That's the other. That's my other thing. It looks like screen grabs.
Yes, it does.
And I can also look by the pixelation of it when I actually, because I've done a few little things also. There was some, the more detail you try to draw out of it, you can see the very big pixelation of it, almost like It is a screen grab off a video frame.
Right.
Right. And it's not a picture like we had the knucklehead from California there, the breakfast treat buddy there, try to get us with a picture he took off of a TV screen. We could see that.
Yep.
And hey, good to see that. Oh, Grasshopper is in the house as well.
Oh, Grasshopper.
And the Howler, good to see you. The Howler, welcome. Another new name. So when you see that, to me, that says a lot as well. So there is so many things. If you take a fine tooth comb and look at them, like automatically.
Now, I am not a trail cam expert.
Jenna's going to play devil's just a thought. Could this person think going to get the cams was a hike in the woods, same as a camera? I don't think so. Because number one, in the first story, he says he's talking about the neighbors. He's talking about the deer outside making the dog parks, and he went out to check the trail cameras, right? So you're all thinking by reading that this guy lives in a remote neighborhood. He may have some, suburban neighborhood. It may be right. But in this one, I caught this while I was hiking in the woods. I don't see, to me, it makes it sound like he was just out in some remote area, doesn't say, hey, because you know what? The bottom line is that people would be saying to him, and I think this is where the story kind of fell apart. Well, dude, this is this is in you buy your house, right? Because the neighbors, because of that, hey, can we come out and investigate? Maybe we need to put more cameras out there. Maybe, it wasn't really my house. Well, why would you say the neighbors and this, blah, 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 blah. So then he puts this up to kind of foil it, but then it doesn't correspond with his initial story, which he's posted in a number of different Bigfoot groups.
Yeah.
So now he has to take that story down. So he's kind of stuck with this. And,
what got me is the part where he jumps to, hey, I may have this Bigfoot on trail camera to, I want to collect $200,000 to open up a Bigfoot store and museum.
Mm-hmm.
That's a big leap.
And then the more lies, the other lies in it, like the world has taken notice. Right. The images have gone viral. Well, truthfully, he actually wrote and I can't show it, but I will read it to you. Let me just see if this is the right one. He wrote 1 day ago, yesterday, because 3 people have already infringed on my pictures and used my exact story. I have watermarked my photos. Anyone claiming these as their own, and just a notice he wrote there improperly, but that happens from time to time. Anyone claiming these as their own, please let me know so I can deal with it accordingly. And he went and he watermarked all of his, very poorly, I might add, because you can hardly read the watermark.
Well, here's the thing, Steve. If he had 3 frame captures or 4, whatever the number is, from a video that he shot, when you zoom those in, those captures, it would be a very pixelated, low definition picture, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we're seeing. But if he had 3 photos from a trail cam, if you zoom those in, you would have a very low pixelation and a high detail image, a high quality image rather than a bunch of pixelated stuff from a 640 by 480 screen grab.
That's right.
Yeah.
See, to me, it looks like pixelation from a video.
And, when you've got it scooched in there that kind of looks like on the chest of a bare spot.
Its behind looks very flat. And by the way, there are a couple of pictures where it does look kind of stocky a bit, and that could very well be him running, taking a little dash in front of the camera. That could very well be him taking a dash in front of the camera.
Oh, well.
Some people have suggested it might be a ghillie suit. Entirely possible.
That's like a high kick there or something.
Yeah. Well, when it's actually got its back to us. And that would mean it's got a really flat butt. Right. Right. I don't know. To me, there's just too much in that would lead me to believe that,
well, we can't look at this and say, hey, this is high quality.
So
it's not. Can't say if it's fake. You can't say if it's real because there's not enough to say anything about.
Girly Bigfooter says, could the guy be saying he caught the Bigfoot on a trail camera while out hiking in the woods, meaning the Bigfoot was hiking in the woods and not he himself? No.
That just could be, when he was writing his story up, he could have got a little. The guy may not be a writer. He may mix things up a little bit. I always try to give everybody the benefit of the doubt. But there's some things that's a red flag. But the searching for $200,000 is a red flag. Okay, that's a problem.
Yeah. I caught Bigfoot on a trail camera while out hiking in the woods.
That's a little bit of a problem. Even if we try to give him the benefit of the doubt, well, maybe he's just not a very talented writer.
How does he know the Bigfoot's on a hike? Yeah, it's something normally I've never heard somebody say before.
Well, it's possible he could have meant I was hiking in the woods to collect my trail cam info, and I caught Bigfoot on the trail cam.
Why didn't he just say, I went to check my trail cameras in the morning of blah, 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 and found these pictures on them?
That would have been much better, been much clearer.
That's what a truthful person who knows his story. Remember, when we are creating a story, posting it everywhere, then waiting a day and say, hey, you know what? Now I got the pictures everywhere. Let me set up a GoFundMe page to make money off of this. Right? And see if people will bite. Because I posted these pictures everywhere. But because he has fabricated the initial story, he does not remember the next time he has to write the story. So it gets very, in fact, he goes from calling it a Sasquatch to a Bigfoot.
Right.
So to me, you either can consistently call something a Bigfoot or consistently call something a Sasquatch. Right. I, over the last couple of years, have gone back to using the term Bigfoot, if everybody has noticed, because I use it in my thumbnails so often and in my descriptions, because Sasquatch sometimes is not a popular as keyword as Bigfoot.
Yeah, I think in the Pacific Northwest, maybe Sasquatch would be a more popular term than it is around here.
Right.
But when you have a story that's made up, it's hard to keep it straight. Right. That's why it's easier not to lie. Just tell the truth.
Right.
There's no problem remembering the truth.
So we have all these things that are sus. The story isn't the same. The fundraiser's been pulled, obviously, because somebody probably pointed out to him, hey, your story isn't the same, and started questioning on it. So let me make that fundraiser disappear. Oh, it doesn't look good. Oh, maybe I ought to, let this thing build up a little bit more. But guess what? The old Squatch Detective here got the screen caps before he was able to dump it. And I do have some more immersive stuff that he had written But I figured I got the gist of what he was saying. So, yeah, because I literally sent the link to my email, and when I came in to do the show tonight and start setting up for the show, the link had already been deaded. So I was like, he took it down.
Yeah. Okay. It's I find it difficult to get excited about this one. This seems like
Well,
already.
actually, Norma, I got to say this. And first of all, it's good to see you, Norma. And of course, Cryptic Crystal as well. All you have to do is change your story once, and that's it. That's the tell. And then,
Right.
like I say, you have pictures here that are not from a trail camera. These are not from a trail camera. These look like screen grabs off of a ring camera or a DVR camera, most likely a camera, and what it was, probably motion activated camera like a blink camera or a ring outdoor camera that perhaps. And here's the thing that it looks like IR, and that would make sense. So it looks like some sort of security camera, perhaps,
Right. Right.
that you can name, or it could be just a security camera that doesn't have it, and he added the camera to and the time and the day and the date. For all we know, these could have been done a week ago. Since he posted them only on Facebook, we don't have the originals to see whether or not the metadata that is needed to prove when this picture was taken, what kind of camera was used, what kind of software was processed, and the actual dimensions of the original picture.
Yeah. And Crystal says most trail cameras have their label in the corner. You know, they have so many different trail cameras.
Again, let's watch the trail camera. And if you have a trail camera, why would you set it to pictures? Why not set it to video? And as you see, there's the brand, the water, the branding on it, the temperature, the time. Mine even has the moon phase,
Right.
on it, plus the temperature. In fact, I have trail cameras that are 15 years old,
right.
that I bought in 2010, 14 years old. No, I'm sorry. 16 years ago, that I have bought 16 years ago. That one I showed the other night,
Right.
On a podcast, or on the show, I was showing a camera. That one is 16 years old. I got that in 2008.
Yeah.
And that even showed the temperature and had a Stealth Cam watermark on it.
Right.
Right? It showed the time, the date, and the temperature. Frank, our good old Vermont trail cam photo guy, had a Moultrie trail camera. That too had the temperature on the camera.
Yeah. And we know this is not a film camera because it's showing pixels rather than green.
No, not true. Not true.
Hmm.
If you take a screen grab off a DVR, you won't have grain, you'll have pixels, because it saves it as a JPEG.
Okay.
Right? So you still have pixels. The reason why you have grain is if I take my phone and physically take a picture of the screen, then you will have grain. You follow me? You'll see you'll still have pixels. If you zoom in real close, you'll still have pixels.
Right.
But if you think about it, you don't have to zoom in.
Well, we're looking at it. Right. We're looking at it on a monitor, so that's going to be pixels. But when you zoom in, you should be able to see the film grain, the small dots, rather than the big rectangular pixels.
Oh, no. I have always had rectangular pixels no matter what, even on a trail camera. You will get those because they're all JPEGs. They're all made with pixels. And even your MPEGs are made with, right?
I get where you're going, but I'm talking about the old trail cams that used actual film.
Yeah. No, that's nothing like this at all. Yeah,
no.
I'm confused. I thought you were talking about the grain, definitely not a film camera. And
No.
I wouldn't expect it with that type of labeling on it. Some sort of
Right.
digital, but I think
But the IR illumination is really, really weak for a trail camera. That is really weak.
well, I don't know, because Aaron says I'd be surprised if the clock doesn't have seconds as well. Could be. Like I said, that
Oh,
could be an after effect in there, putting camera 2
right.
and the date and time. Because I tell you what, I've never quite seen a font that big on a trail camera.
Yeah.
That's
I
the
would
other
think.
thing. The font is way big for a trail camera photo.
What's
That
the
that
time look like on your other one, Steve? Can you put that other trail cam video
absolutely.
on?
Yep. So, Chris, if you unmute yourself and you can, I'm going to show that here. So, as you can see, that band is very narrow.
Yeah, and you see that it says 05:39 a.m. It don't say 5:39 a.m.
Right.
Now, what's his trail cam photo say? It says 3:28 a.m. It should say 03:28 a.m.
Right.
I would think.
And you notice that the AM is capitalized on mine, and there's a space after the 328.
Yeah.
And it looks like he was doing that to squeeze all that lettering and numbering into it. So I think
Oh,
this
this
is
questionable. Yeah.
a manufactured watermark on the actual thing, and it was probably a security camera, like a ring, like a ring doorbell of some sort, or a one of the blink cameras, outdoor cameras, or one of the ring outdoor cameras. And I think what he did was he went and he added that time in there, because here's the interesting thing. Here's another thing. Now, it could be because the time is at 3:27, 3:27, 3:28, 3:28. Why does the time change?
Yeah, that's odd.
I mean, could it have walked there at 3:27:59, 3:27, 3:28, 3:28:05? I mean, could it possibly?
It's possible. Yeah.
But I'm really thinking that um I'm really thinking that was just an added strip. It looks way too big. Like I said, it takes up a big portion of the bottom of that camera. And I'm sure I could find the standard size and pixels of a band, a watermark band on a trail camera, if I really wanted to, and then measured it with this one or compared it with this one. But here we have a real trail camera photo, and you can see that the fonts are different. And I really haven't seen a font like this too often. So this could have easily been done with Canva or in any other thing to make it look like. And truthfully, it looks like Arial in caps, with the exception of the AM. And the funny thing is,
Hmm.
let me just check one other thing that I just noticed.
Yeah, that's kind of a skinny font.
Okay. Now, here's the funny thing. M is capitalized.
Right.
According to ChatGPT, AM and PM is not normally capitalized, but mine is, which is kind of funny, because I thought maybe, is it not supposed to? I just find it really weird, and that there's no space between the 8 and the A. I find that weird. I find that camera /2. You never see that. You cannot program a trail camera like that.
Hmm.
You can't program a trail camera's watermark, as far as I know. And if somebody knows a camera that has this type of stamp, please drop me a line and let me know. I'd be really interested to know. But I have never seen a watermark. It could be a Chinese knockoff, but the knockoffs are usually just as good as the watermarks are just as good as anything else. But for it to say camera/2, no, even if it was a knockoff, it would, to me, would even be less likely that you would be able to program a name into it.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna look on do a Google search on images and search.
I already did.
photos.
Already done. And they all had very small watermarks. They all had they also were all in bold watermarks.
Yeah. That's the thing. The font is really skinny.
Right. And large. Right.
Right.
It's about twice the size of, or maybe 3/4, about a quarter larger of the size of the usual font.
Well, so it's a little questionable, you know, but given all that, even if this is an actual trail camera photo, there's not enough quality there.
I mean, I have 3 stealth cameras, but the font is not as weird looking as that. Not as skinny. They're all bold as far as I know. But again, we lose that ability to check the metadata because he puts it on Meta. And that's something that, yeah, but let me ask you this, Bill. Does your trail camera have a watermark of a brand name on it? My guess is it does. I bet you Bushnell has a watermark. I bet you...
you would think most...
Right, and I'm not disagreeing with that. That kind of looks like self-labeling for him. But that usually is done on a DVR camera, not a
not a trail camera.
And not a trail camera like that. I mean, I know Trackway says he can program his, but here's the thing. I can program names on mine too, but they only show up on this. They don't show up on the watermark. And I've said that earlier tonight. But I can look and see camera 1 and camera 2 where they are right now. Right? But when they take a picture, they do not say camera 1 or camera 2 on them.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, there could be a price difference too, Steve. Your trail cams could be a lot nicer than what they've got here. This might be some sort of Wish trail cam or something.
Very true. Very true. That only takes pictures and not photos or not video. But I tend to think because of the quality of the image, right? The quality. I mean, maybe they didn't get the highest. Maybe he got a cheap one. Maybe the kid's not rich or anything. But he's certainly running around with some nice firearms, right?
Yeah.
Looks like he's investing all his money in firearms, and he's supposed to be, he calls himself entrepreneur at, this survival company or something like that. Right? Right. So one would think he would have a better, trail camera than that.
Yeah, a pretty good setup for a trail cam. Yeah.
Right. And that's right. Most have their brand on screen because you want to advertise that.
I think so too.
They want their name in there,
Right.
Something comes up really beautiful. Hey, look at this trail cam photo. Oh, look, that's the camera that took that picture
or whatever. Yeah, exactly.
Right. And Bill, I have spy points too. That's what I got out back there, obviously. And
I don't know about this one from Timberline Camp. Synthetic materials should glow in IR trail cams unless it's bearskin. I don't think that's.
It's also possible. Like I say, the IR is not very strong. In fact, if you look at that, it's off in the distance, so it may not get that brightness to it. Right.
Well, I believe that there's not much IR illumination here, but there's probably enough. If it turned and looked at the camera, we could get eye shine.
But let's go back. Thank you, Crystal, very much.
Oh, Crystal, thanks so much.
Appreciate it.
Too kind.
You know, that's why I always go back to this. We can debate this crap all night long when it is, right? But
Yeah.
here's the real fact. He wrote this at first, trying to claim it was like in his backyard.
Right.
And then he goes and he sets up a GoFundMe page saying something completely different.
Okay. So there's a few red flags. Yeah. Well, I like to have a look at new stuff, you know.
Yep.
Fortunately, I can't really get excited about this one.
I tell you what, Bill, you know, see what you can dig up, brother, and send it over to me at my email. And we can do a follow-up on Friday because it's 10 o'clock. And I know for a lot of us, last night was a very long night.
Yes, it was.
So I would have to say, let's, one thing I do want to show folks is the laugh of the day sign at Alaska Airlines saying no bear spray allowed in carry-on or check luggage. And then in parentheses, it says no bears allowed either.
Oh, that's good. I like it. A little humor.
Yeah. And I don't know if you came in late, Crystal, was all of a sudden because of that, you know, and then again, we look at the lies on it. Very, how should I say it? The gentleman from the Bay Area of California, you know, since that moment, the images have gone viral. Articles have been written. Where have the articles been written? And the world has taken notice. Really? A lot of you guys are seeing this for the first time, so the world hasn't taken notice, right? He just self-promoting it like this is some big type of deal. And then, you know, you talk about, you know, we'll feature the famous trail cam photos. The famous trail cam photos, excuse me, they're not famous by any means. The potentially famous, maybe. The rare Bigfoot-related artifacts. Rare Bigfoot-related artifacts, like what? What do you plan on getting? Immersive exhibits. What are you going to do? Have a Bigfoot go, right? You know, and the Bigfoot store will celebrate the legend of Bigfoot while also providing a retail space for unique, one-of-a-kind Bigfoot-themed merchandise.
Well, that's
exactly
a heck of a dream there. Yeah, it really is.
Exactly. Yeah, I just no, I'm not buying it. Sorry. Something is wrong there. But I'm glad I did get to screen grab some of those.
Yeah. We would have never known. They would have been gone, lost forever.
Right. Gone. Yeah. Or should I say gong. All right, folks. We thank each and Chris, do your thing.
Yeah, well, thank you guys for hanging out with us tonight. We appreciate you. It's always a pleasure and an honor that you would hang out and spend your Wednesdays with us.
Thank you, Danny.
Danny, thank you so much. We appreciate that. And you know, you guys are the greatest audience we could ever hope for, and we're thrilled to death and honored to have you. Thank you so much for joining us again. If it's your first time watching the channel, make sure you hit the subscribe button. Smash that like button on the way out if you hadn't already. And everybody over at the podcasts, multiple, you guys come on over to the YouTube channel and check out this video or check out the screen caps and stuff that we've got of the Bigfoot trail cam photos, allegedly. But we'll catch you guys Friday night. Thanks.
Yeah, and folks, I want to wish everybody, each and everybody, thanks for being here tonight. We love you guys. You guys are the world's smartest audience. We also love you guys that are listening to us on our podcast stations. And we look forward to keep on keeping on here. We'll have any updates on this Friday if there are any. And Thank you, Crystal. They're fighting over here now. Crystal just sent a $5 one.
Crystal, thank you so much.
That is
You
a really
guys are too
cool
much.
super sticker too.
Wow. Very cool. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you, and you know that helps because a lot of times, you know, we monetize, and what was it? A couple of weeks ago, we had that big show about the Nephilim, and we forgot to monetize it until we got off air, and not realize, because what happens when you set up a show sometimes, it automatically propagates into YouTube.
Right.
And then I have to go in, put the tags in. There's certain things that I have to do on YouTube that StreamYard doesn't do for us. And one of the things is when you're on the very first screen to monetize it. And it's very easy to miss. So I don't know why there's just not a default setting to say that videos that you put on this are automatically monetized. You know, that's the way I guess YouTube saves a few dollars here. So if you forget, they just saved themselves a couple of bucks. Now you time that by 10 million users, and now you're saving yourself a hell of a lot of money.
Yeah.
But oh no, StreamYard gets their cut by me paying them once a month to.
Oh yeah, they get theirs every month. Yeah.
And since they doubled their price, we appreciate the super stickers. Awesome as well. So thank you guys. Thank you, Crystal. Thank you, Danny, for your super stickers tonight. And again, we have the greatest audience ever, and we love you guys. And we will be back here Friday night, 9 p.m. Eastern. And, you know, hopefully by then I'll have some sort of announcement about what we're doing with the show positioning. Sundays will remain the same. We may have to shuffle the Friday show. So, and we may be cutting back down again to 2 nights a week for a small period of time, hopefully until the spring. So, and then we'll have, you know, come the spring, we got a lot of things on the line for next year, don't we, Chris?
Oh yeah, coming up.
We got a lot going on for next year. So, folks, we'll see you all Wednesday night. God bless. Stay safe. We'll catch you all Wednesday at 9 p.m. Eastern right here on Squatch-D TV, youtube.com at Squatch-D TV. Catch you all later.
We thank you for being here with us on Squatch-D TV. If you haven't taken the time yet, please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. And oh yes, hit that notification bell too. We don't want you to miss anything. If you really like our content, you should consider becoming a member, and it's really inexpensive and a great way to support not only the show, but honest Bigfoot research. Everyone have a great week. Be safe and God bless. We will see you all here next time on Squatch-D TV. Keep on squatching.